guys, a long time no see. I took a little bit of a break that was supposed to be for just Christmas and New Year's and that little time there, but turned out to be a long one because I got the flu, not just a little cold, but I got the flu, like influenza flu, and I was out for 3 weeks. It was horrible. I was feeling awful, so I was not obviously doing videos. However, now I'm back, I'm feeling good, and I wanted to do a little catch up with you guys and just do a little Q&A, just talk to you a little bit while I'm getting ready to go vote, because today is the last day I can still vote in Estonia for the Finnish president, so I need to go to the Finnish consulate and vote. First things first, we're obviously gonna need to put the headband on. So I do look a little bit silly, but it's okay. It's just girly thing, it's just girls. Just as girls catching up, or guys. We're just on FaceTime, we're just catching up. I have my drinks because I'm a firm believer that you need multiple drinks at once. I have water, I have kombucha, which apparently this is the worst kombucha. I mean, it tastes the best, but it doesn't really do anything for you, but oh well. But it's the Gutsy Captain kombucha, which is, it's just the original flavor, which is my favorite. The other ones are a little bit too sweet, but I do like the ginger one as well. And then I have a little afternoon pick-me-up, or panic attack that I like to call it. Just my coffee from my little moving mug. I've drank a lot of it in a very short amount of time, and my tolerance has completely reset because I took a break from caffeine for like months, and then when I started drinking caffeine again, it just gives me a panic attack almost every time. But I'm trying to build my tolerance, which is stupid. Why do I even need to do that? Like, I don't need to. I was fine without caffeine. Did not even realize that there's a difference between caffeine and, you know, if anything, I'm just sleeping better. So I'm not really sure. Genuinely just self-sabotage for the sake of having a little drink. So I've done my skincare routine for the morning, but if anybody was curious, as my cleanser, I use this, which is the Lumene Classic Cleansing Milk, like soft cleansing milk. It's one of my favorites that I've used before as well, and it literally makes my skin just so... I'm breaking out just a tiny bit right now because hormonal reasons, but otherwise it makes my skin so soft and so just perfect, and it's so natural. But I think you can only get this in Finland, Estonia, maybe some of the other Nordic countries, not really sure. I know that Lumene exists in States, at least it used to a little bit. I don't know, but it's the best. It's the best. And as my double cleanse, I use the Garnier micellar water, which I've been using for years and years and years, probably 7 years at this point, and it's just so good. But I am running out, and I'm not going to repurchase it because I have another one that I got for Christmas, which is also by Lumene, and it's this one. I got it for Christmas, so I'm not going to repurchase that when I can try this out. And then as my day cream, I use this, which is by Puhas Lotus, which is an Estonian company, so all very, you know, I forget the word. But yeah, I use this. It's the chamomile one, which it's my favorite. For me, my face looks so different because I got my lashes removed. I had lash extensions in all of my previous videos, but I got them removed recently, and it's so weird for me because I've had them for a year now, so my face looks very naked to me. So that's my first step in my little routine. I'm gonna use Essence Bright Eyes Under Eye Stick. Just looks like this. I love Essence products so much, so I'm gonna use that. I don't really know what it does, but it just makes my like under eye, it's not concealer, but it just kind of like makes them like a little brighter, which is good because as you can see, my under eyes are really dark. They've always been dark, just genetically, like ever since I was a little kid. Not much I can do about it. I've tried all the things and nothing works. Apparently Botox would help, but I'm not really trying to do that right now. That's okay. I've learned to embrace them. I can see that in the camera they look insane. They don't look as crazy in real life, but bear in mind we're gonna put makeup on top of it, so it's gonna all be fine. So as for my foundation, I use also Lumene. I promise Lumene stops here. I'm pretty sure it stops here. I'm not using anymore. It's the Blur foundation, which is my favorite foundation all time. And my brush that I haven't washed in probably 5 years. So if that makes you uncomfortable, I'm really sorry. It makes me uncomfortable as well. So I posted a little while ago, I posted a question box on my Instagram just because I haven't caught up with people in a long while. I answered some of them on my Instagram, which I saved in the highlight that's called Me. So they're still there if anybody wants to go check, but there's a lot that I didn't answer, so I'm gonna answer some of them now. So I've gotten some new followers on Instagram as well, so they had just basic questions, so I'm just gonna answer those, which are just, you know, my age, where I'm from, what I do with my life. So I'm 23. I turned 23 in December of 23, so I'm always pretty much the same age as the year. Born in 2000, if that helps. It's kind of hard to talk when you're like doing this on your neck because it makes me like it makes my like voice vibrate. But anyway, 23. I'm Finnish. I was born and raised in Finland, and I think a lot of people were just confused about that because I do live in Estonia, but I'm not Estonian and I don't have any family here. I just kind of moved here. But I've explained that story on my Instagram as well, and you could go check that out because I feel like people don't really care, but if you do, it's there. But yeah, I live in Estonia and I've lived here for the past almost 4 years. Well, 3.5. I moved October of 2020 or September of 2020. Yeah, I've been here ever since. Another question that I got was that what am I currently reading and what has been my last 5-star read? I'm currently reading I'm reading Vicious by V.E. Schwab, which is my first V.E. Schwab book. Even though I do own The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, I own like a special edition of it even, and I just haven't read it. And I bought it like a year ago. I don't know why I've never been in the mood. I'm also gonna use the Essence cover stick under my eyes. But yeah, I don't know why I haven't read it, but currently I'm reading Vicious, which is, if you guys are on Book Talk, you might have seen Sloane and Kyrie and them do their like wrap-ups and just bookish videos. I love them, and they have a book club called Crow Club, which I'm a part of, and Vicious was the book club pick of the month, so I started reading it and it's really good. It might be a 5-star. I'm about halfway, like 45% in, but it really might be a 5-star for me. It's just really good. If you guys have read If We Were Villains, it's kind of giving the same vibe, except it's like fantasy and there's not necessarily a huge group of people. It's just 2 guys, but similar vibes, dark academia, fantasy, and I really like it. I'm reading that, and my last 5-star read was in September. We're in January currently, and my last 5-star read was in September. That's crazy. I feel like last year I had so many 5-star reads just back to back to back. But to be fair, I've also really I've changed my rating method as well. Like I'm a little bit more picky with my ratings, I guess, because I used to just give like a book a 5-star if the vibes were good, which is fair. Like I understand, like the vibes were good and I was like, okay, 5-star. But then the writing wasn't necessarily good, or there might have been things that I was like, I don't really agree with, but then I just moved on from it and I gave them 5 stars. And then when I was looking back at them like later last year, I was like, I don't really agree with some of these anymore, because they might have been books that I don't really even think about anymore. I forgot that I read them. They were just good vibes at the time. So I took them down a little bit. But so yeah, my last 5-star read was in September, and it was If We Were Villains, which I loved. It was just so good. The book that I just read is called Hildur, which is by Satu Rämä, who's a Finnish author, and it's the first book that I've ever read in Finnish, and by a Finnish author too, not just translated to Finnish, but the first actual like book that is like by a Finnish author. And I really like that one as well, but unfortunately it's not translated to English. It's translated to a bunch of languages, just not English, so that doesn't really help us here if you do speak English. Yeah, remember like 2 minutes ago when I said that I'm done with Lumina products? So I'm now using another Lumina product. It's the Natural Glow Multi-Stick. I don't really know, like I think you can use it as, I don't know, but it's a multi-stick. So I'm guessing you use it on your like lips and as blush. I don't know, I have to Google, but I've just been using it on my cheeks as blush. Somebody also asked what are my most anticipated reads of 2024. And I honestly, I don't really know what's coming out this year. But my most anticipated read is definitely Into the Dark, Magnolia Park's the 3rd book, which is coming out in less than a month. It's currently the 19th and it's coming out the 13th of February. So excited. If you didn't know, Magnolia Park series, I read it a year ago and it's probably my all-time favorite series, at least romance-wise. I just think about it all the time. I'm getting a tattoo for it soon. That's definitely my most anticipated read. Okay, somebody asked a bit more of a personal question, which I don't mind at all, I love it, but somebody asked how I deal with anxiety. And I've been really vocal and open about my anxiety on Instagram. I just think that it's like an important subject to talk about. I remember when I first became aware that I have anxiety, and I realized that I have been experiencing this for over 10 years and I just didn't realize. I was about 16 when I realized that it's anxiety and panic attacks. And I realized like, oh, like I remembered all these things from my childhood and I was like, that was anxiety, that was having a panic attack. Like it wasn't a tantrum, it was just me having a panic attack. And I've been really open about that, and I think it's so important because I feel like I could have used that guidance and somebody telling me that like what it is earlier on. My holy grail that I just recently started doing is taking magnesium, specifically magnesium glycinate. So there's multiple different types of magnesium. There's oxide, there's citrate. There's just a lot of different kinds. But glycinate is considered the best for anxiety and also headaches and migraines, which I have both. I have migraines and I have anxiety, so it's really just an amazing little life hack, if you will. And it's been so good. I've been taking it for a while now. Like, I used to get anxious almost every day about something, or like I would have like a knot in my stomach, or I would get like, I don't know, just like weird anxiety for kind of no reason. And then after I started taking magnesium, it just disappears. It just truly has changed my life. So I really do recommend that. Also, I do ice on my face almost every morning. I have like water bottles, just like a normal like plastic water bottle, fill it with water and I put it in the freezer and it just freezes like solid. Every morning I put it on my face, that really helps. As for just like lifestyle changes, I've started journaling a lot, which if you follow me on Instagram, you probably know. I've been journaling so much and it has really helped me just like clear my mind. And I also try to not have caffeine unless I really need it. And I prefer having matcha over coffee because matcha has this ingredient, I think it's L-theanine. I don't know how to pronounce it, I'll put it on the screen. But matcha has this ingredient which is known to calm your body and calm your anxiety and your nervous system. So I do prefer that. It doesn't have that like rush of an energy, I guess, that you get from caffeine and you get all jittery and stuff. So I do prefer matcha, but I really did have to kind of teach myself to drink it because when I first tried matcha, I thought that it tastes like dirt, like the ground. And I didn't really love it, so I've really had to kind of teach myself to love it. But I have it with oat milk. I put a little bit of like sugar syrup in there sometimes, and yeah, I really like it now, but it definitely took me a little bit to start liking it. So yeah, I do that. And then as for like if I actually feel anxious, then I usually immediately start talking to somebody. Like I'll call somebody, or I'll just start doing voice messages to somebody, just talking about something. Usually gets my mind off of things and calms me down a little bit. I do a lot of walks, like at least one walk a day, and a longer one, like at least an hour. I do love walking though, so it's like not like a big thing for me. Like I really like going on walks and I need it for my mental health. And I do live in like an area that's really walkable, or a country that's really walkable. Yeah, I don't know what I would do without my little walks. And again, ice on my face and ice on my wrists and my chest because it stimulates your vagus nerve, which is a nerve in your body that kind of gives you all these anxiety symptoms and stuff. And if you stimulate that and you calm that down, then it calms down your symptoms and your anxiety, because sometimes I'll get a little anxious, like just a tiny bit, but then my body starts feeling all these symptoms, like I feel like I can't breathe or I get nauseous. That's usually my first symptom, that I'm like really nauseous, and I get really dizzy. I get these like brain zaps, like kind of like it feels like my brain like gets like tiny like little zaps, which is weird, or my brain feels all fuzzy and stuff. And then I start getting anxious about those and I start freaking out, and then that makes my anxiety much worse. So also, this is really random, but I have games on my phone that I can play when I do get anxious, just to like calm me down, take my mind off of things. And my current favorite is Heyday. I used to play when I was like 12 or 13, when it first like started popping off. I played that and now I love it. It just calms me down. It's just so good. It's like a cozy game. And also, this is a little weird. This is completely a placebo. Like, this is not real. This is not, there's no scientific truth behind this, but it calms me down instantly. When I was about 15 or 16, when I started realizing that I have anxiety, but I wasn't really still sure, but I just always knew that I get nauseous for no reason. Like, I'm getting nauseous and I start freaking out about it, because when I was a kid I got norovirus, which is just an extreme form of the stomach flu, and that really traumatized me and it made me so scared of throwing up. So whenever I get nauseous, I start kind of like panicking over it, because I'm like, oh no. And I read somewhere online that mint helps with nausea. Like mint gum can help with that. So then I started like eating this really strong mint gum. Oh, also, by the way, I am using a mascara for my brows, just in case anybody was concerned or wondering if they are seeing it correctly. You are. I bought this like really strong mint gum and I just started eating that. Like literally every time I started getting nauseous, just popped one in and it calmed me down immediately. I was like, okay. So I created like this mental like placebo effect. Placebo? Yeah, placebo, not placebo. So I always have gum with me. Now I have to get rid of this little dot somehow. But yeah, those are kind of my anxiety tips and tricks. Also chamomile tea. How could I forget my holy grail, chamomile tea? Chamomile tea every single night and throughout the day. I love chamomile tea. Somebody asked if I'm planning on ever moving back to Finland. I'm not currently planning on moving back to Finland, but I do really miss it, which is crazy. And if any of my friends that I've been friends with for years are watching this, they're probably also a little confused, because I was always that girl who was like hating where she's from. I was like, oh, I hate it here, I hate Finland, I hate this city, whatever. Like, I need to get out, I need to live in a big city, and I need to whatever. And then it was only after I moved out of Finland and I had like a year living somewhere else and kind of put things into perspective, where I was like, actually, I really like Finland. Finland is such a good country. Not that Estonia isn't good, that's not what I meant to say at all. I love Estonia and like so much. I love living here. Obviously, I'm still here. I definitely started missing Finland a little bit more. And just kind of like having those like homey things, because like as close as Estonia and Finland are, I can get a lot of things that I get in Finland in Estonia, but there are a lot that I can't. Yeah, sometimes I do miss Finland a lot, which is just completely normal. I haven't been there. And also it's weird because if you do live in Estonia or Finland, you know how easy it is to go from country to country. It's literally 2 hours. You hop on a ferry, 2 hours later, you're in another country. So a lot of people do like little weekend trips and stuff, and I haven't. I literally, within the past 3.5 years that I've lived here, I've gone to Finland probably 3 times, I think. And I've never gone alone, and I've always like had my boyfriend with me, because every time we go, it's for like Christmas or something, like a family event. So of course we go together, and I love it. I love taking him there. I love showing him around everything. But yeah, lately I've just really missed Finland a lot, and kind of like have been like feeling this like little like Finnish identity crisis is what I'm calling it. I know Finland is my home and it's my home country and where I was born, and I'm Finnish, but it doesn't really feel like home. Like if somebody told me right now, like pack your bags and move back, I would freak out, because I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, I've never had an adult life there, and I think that's the reason I'm kind of feeling weird about it. And I was talking about this to my cousin who's American. Well, she's Finnish and American, but she is born and grew up in America, and she only moved to Finland in her mid-20s in 2020, and she just wanted to see like what the life is in Finland, because she is half Finnish, but she's never lived here, never anything, so she wanted to see what it's like. And I was talking to her about it. I was like, why do I feel this way? And she was saying like, oh, I think it's just because you've never had like an adult life. You've never lived here by yourself. Like you've only lived with your parents and whatever. Like you just kind of feel like disconnected. So I am gonna take a little solo trip to Finland for a week, which is crazy to me, in a few weeks, and I'm obviously gonna vlog. But yeah, my cousin is going to Lapland with her friends, so I'm gonna go house sit and babysit her dog, my nephew, if you will. And I'm so excited. I'm gonna see like my Finnish friends and just spend a lot of time like just being a tourist in my own country and own city and stuff. So really excited for that. But as of right now, I am here and I'm loving it here. I was gonna be like, I'm finished with my makeup because I did my brows, which is usually where my makeup routine ends, but I have to do my eyelashes now, or mascara. I feel like my lashes are so short and there's not a lot of them because of the lashes. I don't know, maybe they ripped some of them out or they just didn't grow the same. I don't really know what's going on. So mascara just at the moment doesn't really look good on me. My lashes are naturally very short though anyway, like they are very like, they grow like downwards and they have no color in them. They've always been like that, but maybe there's like a lash serum or something that I can use. And as for my mascara, right now I'm using the Essence Lash Princess, the waterproof one, because I can't use any others than waterproof, because otherwise my lashes, they just like drop. I really want to use the telescopic mascara because I've used the non-waterproof one and it just was so perfect, but it again doesn't hold my lashes at all. So I really want to use that one, but I can't find the waterproof anywhere. I don't know if I can order it from somewhere like another country, because Finland or Estonia doesn't sell it, so I'm not really sure. But I really want to use that one. I'm gonna answer one more question before we have to go, or I have to go. Somebody just asked, how am I doing? I'm doing good now. Like I said, I was really sick. Like I haven't experienced anything like that in so long. It kind of was like a roller coaster where I was really sick, then I started getting a little bit better, and then I was like really sick, like even more sick than in the beginning. 3 days go by and I start getting a little better, and I'm back being so sick and feeling awful. And I even had to go to the ER at one point because I started feeling like I had that like this like chest pain throughout all of being sick, and I was like, oh, okay, it's just because I'm sick, like I've experienced that before, like it's nothing crazy. And I was like able to breathe normally and stuff, so I wasn't like too concerned about it. I like, you know, I was sick and sometimes it happens. But then my left arm started going numb, it started feeling tingly, I couldn't feel my fingers, the whole arm went numb, and then it would come back and it would just hurt so bad. And at the same time I have these intense chest pains. Then I start feeling dizzy and nauseous, and I start getting severe migraine, like not feeling good at all. And I was like, okay, this is a little concerning. And it all happened really fast. Like I was fine in the morning, and then like a few hours later, all of a sudden it started happening really fast. And I was like, okay. And I texted my doctor. I was like, is this normal? Like, what should I do? Like, do I just take like a painkiller? Like, what's going on? And she called me and she was like, you should probably go to the ER because it sounds like you're having a stroke or like a heart infarct. And I was like, okay. So I went to the ER and my heart is fine, my lungs are fine, so that's good. But I was there for 6.5 hours, and probably half of it I still thought that I was like having something. But that was really scary, and it turns out it was just because I was sick. And the arm was because there was like a nerve thing, like I guess I had slept on it weird or something, and my arm just, like the nerve just wasn't, I guess, working really. But it was just unfortunate timing for them to be at the same time. And I started feeling dizzy and nauseous because of the migraine. So it was just like a bunch of things that just created a horrible combination. And they took 3 blood tests, all from the same spot. So my arm was bruised after that. It was not good. And I had to do an ultrasound on my arm because when we eventually established that I'm not having a stroke, I'm not having a heart attack, and everything is fine with my heart, the doctor thought that I might have blood clots in my lungs or my arm because sometimes COVID can cause that. At the time we thought that I had COVID. So yeah, I had to do an ultrasound. I was sitting there on the table with the doctor, like starting to do the ultrasound, and she asked me to take like all of my clothes from like my waist up away. I was like, okay, cool. Didn't really mind. So we started doing the ultrasound, and like 5 minutes in, a bunch of med students walk in, and I was like, I'm pretty sure they have to ask you, like, is it okay if they come in? Like, is it okay if they observe or whatever? But regardless, I was like, okay, like, I want you to learn. I don't mind that you're learning from me and my body, and, I'm glad you're learning. I was feeling a little vulnerable there. And that was my last hour there too. So at that point, I had been there for like 5.5, 6 hours. And I still had a migraine. I hadn't eaten a single thing, and it was really late at that point too. I think it was like 9 o'clock, and I was like, I'm just not in the mood. So that was a little vulnerable moment. And then I come home and I'm like, I'm so excited to just take ibuprofen, because also when I was at the hospital and I had the migraine, I was like, can you please give me something, because I have a horrible migraine. And she was like, what do you usually take? Like, do you usually have migraines? And I was like, yeah, I've had them for years. Like, I usually take 2 ibuprofen, so 800 milligrams of ibuprofen, and like that helps. She's like, okay, give her 1. That one did not do anything. So I was so excited. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna take ibuprofen or paracetamol or something, get rid of this migraine. I'm gonna put ice on my face, I'm gonna take a hot shower. There's no hot water because the pipes were frozen, or there was something wrong. It was during the time when it was minus like 25 or something. It was really crazy. Minus 28. It was something really crazy. It was really cold. Understandable that the pipes were frozen, but this house is also new. It's built like a few years ago, so that shouldn't be happening. But somebody did come check it out the next day. Like, okay, this is not normal. But yeah, that was a rough day. I just wanted to take a hot shower and get into bed. But now I'm feeling healthier. I'm pretty much back to normal. My energy, I'm still a little bit drained, but I'm pretty much back to normal. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna blow dry my bangs so they're not like flat. They're kind of more, nice. I'm gonna do that, and then I'm just gonna get dressed and leave. Thanks for spending time with me. Thanks for hanging out with me and catching up. I'll see you guys very, very soon.